collective. Happy full moon in Scorpio. I hope you're doing well today. It's been a little intense, but thank you so much for taking the time to join me. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. So new moon in Scorpio, we have been going through a lot of change, a lot of transition. Scorpio represents those life cycles, i.e. death and rebirth. And we're in this space where Pluto has actually just moved into Aquarius about back in November. It will stay in there for roughly 20 years or so. And it's really giving us the opportunity to kind of switch the script, meaning align, choose things that better honor, fulfill our heart, our mind, our soul. And in the process of this change, it's really highlighting people, places, and things that are not on board with us. Sorry, not on board with us, not really wanting to endeavor in the same things. It's bringing up a lot of tension, a lot of frustration. There has been a heightened water and fire element in the collective, which just can be really destructive. There's a lot of powerful aspects to feeling your feels, listening to your emotions, your gut instincts, using that fire energy as creativity, inspiration to push you forward. But then when we're not getting our way, when things aren't really going according to plan, it can be easy to get really upset, on many different levels. So it's like we're not only combating that within ourselves, but also within the relationships that we're dealing with. And the Scorpio full moon is really highlighting that change, and change all across the board. It's tensely aspected to Jupiter, which is our fortune. It's our abundance. Jupiter's in Gemini. So that's calling us to find different approaches with how we're doing things, or being able to work with the duality is maybe a better way to say it. It's a lot to navigate. That's why I like to start off with these energy cleansings, just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out any blocks, limitations we might be coming into. It's a great time to set your own intention as well, especially if you've come into this reading with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like to give spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing, wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you would like me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are just looking for more of a realignment of self, mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're operating from that space of alignment, that is when we're strong. That's actually how we manifest our happiness and fulfillment, is knowing who we are, knowing what we want, and then making choices accordingly. So I would love to help support in whatever way possible. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it, collective. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly, and help to make me the clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama Love. All right, so as I mentioned, there is definitely tension in the air during this full moon. A lot of just very unexpected things are coming out of the woodwork. Things that obviously we're not necessarily looking for, or it's a blast from the past for some of us. With all this change that's happening, or specifically because Pluto just moved into Aquarius, it is resurfacing old people, old situations, old karmas. And there is support. It's not as strong this full moon, but what I do like is all those elements, the fire, the water, etc. They're finding a little bit more balance, meaning that it's not going to feel so high and low. The high highs and the low lows, which in and of itself can be so discombobulating, right? Overarching energy, the 10th house of career and success. 10th house is ruled by Capricorn. Capricorn is the energy of strength and endurance. It's ruled by the planet Saturn, and which is all about teaching us our lessons. And it's forcing us to overcome these lessons. The 8th house is ruled by Pluto. And so we're getting these hints, or we're working through this process of change. This process of change that I do feel like is uncovering new mysteries is what I'm hearing. The new mysteries of like our heart. Not to be a cheeseball, but that's how I'm hearing it. You know, so often we disconnect from self, especially as we get older. You know, we find different ways to cope with life, ways to navigate all the craziness to the best of our ability, and we lose touch with our heart. We lose touch with what we want, and that's what this full moon is all about. It's about reconnecting with what it feels like, to feel good. As I'm saying this, I'm reminded how Neptune is in Aries right now. It had a long stint in Pisces where all of the emotions, the feelings, the intuitive energy was super heightened. And it made it hard. Like, it was great to intuit into something, use our intuition to kind of sense how things were going to go. But then it also could be really destructive because it heightened that value of illusion, right? Like where that intuition could go a little too far the other way, or kind of feel worst case scenario. And now that I'm saying all that, because now that it's in Aries, it's giving us a chance to actually trust and believe in ourselves. What we're picking up, what we're seeing about relationships, and therefore highlighting the importance of this Cancer energy. Cancer is all about feeling. It's also a water sign, incredibly intuitive, feeling into the people, the situations. I mean, here's the thing. We're all changing. So just as much as the people, situations that you're having a hard time with are creating resistance, they're also going through change as well. Or seeing what I'm hearing with this Knight of Wands, Hangman, it's seeing that maybe they don't have as strong of a foothold as what they once used to. And then I'm also hearing with that Hangman, it's like seeing some of their own destructive behaviors. I mean, I think that's being highlighted for all of us, as I was saying. Right now, Pluto is tensely aspected to Black Moon Lilith, to the fortune point, to the ascension point, as well as Mercury. So we're really struggling with how we want to, how the change is going to happen. And on some level, there's like a crossing of a fingers that it's not going to, is what I'm hearing. Because yes, 100% with you coming in as strength, as your energy, it's requiring you to kind of push beyond the norm. The 11th house is, well, ruled by Aquarius, since we've been talking about that so much. And it really is connecting with things that are a little bit more innovative, off the beaten path, our hopes, our ideals that maybe seem a little bit altruistic, but we can actually achieve. And it's a lot about connecting with the right community, the right people in order to do so. But that's where the challenge lies, because it has been difficult to get here. You have made a lot of changes, and you are really focused on your successes. Sorry, as I'm throwing cards, super focused on your success. And it doesn't just have to be in career, business. Maybe you are trying to bring more money into your pocket. The economy is weird right now, so it makes a lot of sense. It's a good time to do so. But again, it's under that guise that we need to change it up. We can't keep doing things how we're doing it. And there's a little bit of temptation around us right now. I feel like with this Three of Pentacles, I'm hearing, are you going to go back? That theme has come up a lot in our collective reads. I do those on the shorts, just as a heads up. You can also check out your Sun, Moon, Venus, Rising sign. Whatever your heart desire, we all embody anything that resonates. I always feel like Spirit speaks to us through anything that resonates. There's like some excuses coming up, or just, I feel like we've been seeing this a little bit. Like I said, some of those old karmas resurfacing where there is some justification around what is going on for them, how it's playing out for them, recognizing that on some level, this person's situation needs you, right? But they're not really quite sure that they're going to choose you, if that makes sense. This definitely feels like someone they have a lot going on, and I'm kind of seeing it as like they're probably not even very clear in their own thoughts and their own opinions, but they need to make a move. And let's look if you have communication with this person yet. This could be, I don't know. Well, with Jupiter being heavily aspected in this full moon, money could definitely be in focus. We have the Eight of Pentacles, which is all about refinement, working hard towards a goal. This could be someone that you have some financial dealings with, but it's changing, right? The tide is turning, and I think that's the overall theme. I probably said that a bajillion times on this video. I've been saying it on the regular with the weekly readings. I feel like for you, it's a lot about, it's a lot about overcoming the difficulties, because right now we have the square aspect, which is a tense aspect in astrology in your blocked energy. And it is highlighting the challenges and the disharmonies. I'm also drawn to the snake that is on this woman's body. And that value of people that are kind of sneaking around or trying to pretend like they're putting in a good effort when maybe that's just not really the case. And I feel like you're picking up on a lot of those things over this full moon. You're seeing things very clearly. It's hard to turn a blind eye to like the realities that you are facing. And it's a little bit humbling, right? Because the moon is tensely aspected to Uranus and as well as Jupiter, like I talked about. And so it's hard to kind of see things through that different lens when we recognize, oh, this really isn't working out, or this is not what I thought it was, or like, wow, that person is doing X, Y, and Z, and that's just like not my vibe. It's hard to kind of detach then, because we're linking up with these false ideas. That's that Black Moon Lilith energy. Or when people do come back around and, like I said, kind of give some excuses, and maybe rightfully so, right? Like maybe rightfully so, this person, because what they are showing is, I want to work with you, collective. I want to work with the collective. I want to figure out a way to kind of push the envelope forward. But you're not in that space yet. I feel like you're treading a little bit more cautiously. This theme has also been kind of coming up a little bit lately, where even if past people, past karmas do resurface, you're pumping the brakes. Or even if it's not past people, it's situations that feel like the past. Situations that feel like, I don't want to go too deep in this. But that's because you guys are like mirroring that back and forth is what I'm hearing. Like I was saying in the very beginning, this person's situation isn't sure that they want to choose you, meaning they might want to take a different route, right? They kind of have this energy of, like I said, a lot going on, or their focus is in a lot of different places. And so because of that, there's a lot of fear circulating around. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of anticipation for how this whole situation is going to work out on both ends. And right now, Pluto, that energy of Pluto really makes us more introspective. It is the house of transformation, but also mystery. It really connects with the occult, not that you have to be an occultist, but this value of like the magic, right? The alchemy of life that is present everywhere. Just look, just watch it out. But this value of like not being afraid to kind of go to more of those intense spaces of really questioning how this is going to play out for you. How does it look for you? Is it worth it? Is it something that you actually do want to engage in and of itself? But there's a lot of fear. Like I said, we're getting the 8 and the 9 of swords, and it's going from the 9 to the 8. So it's digressing. So it's like all this anxiety is spiraling around in our minds. And the Emperor is all about taking control. regardless of what is happening, right? It's saying, you know, we can't control our thoughts. They just pop into our mind, but we can control if we attach onto them. We can control how much power we give them. And so the Emperor is able to say, you know what? That might be so, but I'm not going to make that my mantra. I'm going to focus on something else. And essentially, it is a lot about cutting out the BS from within so that you're cutting it out from without, if that makes sense. Whatever's going on inside of you is being reflected back in your environment, the people, the situations that we're dealing with. And that's that Eight of Swords energy, right? When we let our own fears, insecurities, doubts kind of blind us from the decisions that we're making. Spirit's asking you to spend a little bit of time with yourself today. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Ride the waves of emotion. It might not be crazy emotional. Thankfully, we have that. Like all the elements are just balanced. So nice. So nice. So it might not feel, again, like those high highs and low lows, but at the same time, soul solitude, I really feel like this is a lot about just like processing through some of the difficulties that have happened, understanding the whys you chose certain things, certain people, so that you can better have that awareness on how to adjust accordingly. Not always the easiest, right? But we're so busy modern day. We have so many distractions around. It's so easy to kind of not process. And when we don't, all we're doing is shooting ourselves in the foot, because we have to know where that disconnect is coming into play. We have to know where we are disconnecting from our heart and not listening to our wants, to our needs, and why we're doing that to ourselves. We have to remember that we deserve, right? We deserve love. We deserve life to be good. I was watching, something last night, and I love this Capricorn popping out. But it was someone giving advice to young people and basically saying, you don't know this yet, but life is not supposed to be this hard. And when you do work in energy healing, law of attraction, that kind of stuff, they really emphasize that point. We overcomplicate things. It doesn't have to be so complicated. And oftentimes this is because we're not listening to our wants and needs. And instead, then putting ourselves in situations that just make things harder. It is about learning. It's our karma. It's about growing. It's about evolving and finding success through the hardship, through the tension. Not always easy, but there's a lot of reward. And what I do love about this full moon, what has been kind of coming through in all of our readings, is it's clearing the stage. Like, we're finally getting to that point where enough is enough. It's a lot, and we're ready to kind of like do a different dance, right? So it wasn't super heavy, actually. This was like a little bit lighter than what I anticipated, because it's leading to good things. It's leading to things that are actually good for your soul. And you're in this preparatory stage where you're really figuring out who and what that is, right? Really tap into those energies of when you are connecting, vibing with someone, how that feels, and then take that to other places in your life, right? And really notice the difference between when you're not and how that feels, right? So thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Happy full moon in Scorpio. Have some fun. Maybe do a little bonfire tonight, little ritual, kind of bring in more of the magic. I appreciate all your time, energy that you bring to the channel. Definitely drop comments below if it resonated. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the support you bring my way. Know I'm sending love and blessings back to you.